Right before we jump into this video, if you'd like me to send you a free guide to capturing motion in low light situations, just look for this orange box over on froknowsphoto.com, put your name, email address in it, hit send it. I'm gonna send you that guide for free. Jared Polin, froknowsphoto.com, and this is a review of the Sigma 12mm 1.4 DC contemporary lens. Now this lens is available for a lot of different mounts. I used it on the Canon RF mount, you have Sony E Mount, you have Fuji X mount, you have the L mount, Alliance, and you do not have the Nikon Z mount, and I'm not sure why at this point, but it is available for all of those other mounts. Now, Sigma calls this a DC lens, which means it's designed specifically for crop sensor bodies. The 12mm is an 18mm equivalent on everything other than the Canon camera. When it's on a Canon camera, it is a 19mm equivalent. Now, it's contemporary, which is their lower end, less expensive line of lenses. They have sports with an S, and they also have the art line of lenses. Sigma's art line of lenses is basically their highest quality line of lens. Now, this is for a crop sensor body, and it leaves me questioning who needs a 12mm 1.4? Of course, it's nice to have that 1.4 because we know on crop sensors, the 1.4 isn't equivalent to 1.4 on full frame, so you need to go wider when it comes to that on your crop sensor bodies. But the question is this a stills focused lens or is it more meant for people on video? Well, we're gonna figure that out throughout this review, but let's take a look at the outside of the lens first and how it feels. It is a tiny, tiny, light, and small, dainty lens, not like my arms. These are not tiny, small, or dainty. In fact, my biceps are bigger than this lens right here. There are exactly 0.0 switches on the outside of this lens. There is a control ring on this version. This is the RF version. I used it on the Canon R7 when I shot. The control ring can be set to aperture. If you get this on any of the other bodies, other than the Nikon, since it's not available there, where this control ring is the aperture ring. So you still have that on the other bodies as well. Now, in terms of weight, this weighs in at a very light 7.9 ounces or 225 grams. It is not heavy at all. It has a 62mm filter thread, 62mm lens cap. You can put threaded filters on it. You have your lens hood that comes off. It's really tiny. You can see how small this lens is, but you do have the ability to put filters on here, generally ND filters if you are going to shoot video. The other thing is, if you're going to shoot video, you do not have image stabilization in this lens. Now, when it comes to image stabilization for stills when you're shooting at 12mm, it's kind of unnecessary. But if you're shooting with an APS-C body that doesn't have image stabilization and you're shooting video, you're going to see it be more shaky. Now, I was using it on a R7 from Canon, and that has image stabilization, so I didn't really notice much when I turned the camera around and used it as a vloggy style camera to shoot video. It was pretty still. But keep in mind, if you don't have image stabilization built in and you're shooting video, you might run into some shaky content. Now, since I mentioned vloggy style, is a 12mm lens enough for shooting vlogs? Is 18 or 19mm enough? I mean, I have to hold the camera out at a distance to get me in it, but are we still talking about vlog lenses? Are there that many people that talk to the cameras and that's what they need it for? Or would this be better set on, say, a gimbal for running and gunning? So I personally use this to take stills. So I took it out to the Phillies game because I knew I could go on the field before the game to try and see what kind of results I could get, as well as taking it up into the stands to get those wide angle shots. And for anybody out there who's looking for the ultra wide on crop sensor cameras who might be into real estate photography, how does it work inside of a building and a room? I also did samples of that. So what am I looking for when I go out onto the field pre-game with a 12 12mm that's acting as a 19mm lens? Well, I know I'm gonna need to get kind of close to my subjects. So the first photo, I didn't even know Superman existed. I guess this guy is the new Superman in the new Superman movie. He was there to throw out the first pitch. So you can see I had to get up close and personal to get the group shot to get everybody in it. 19mm is not really the type of lens I think about buying when I'm thinking about stills. All the way back in the day when 20mm 2.8 on a full frame film camera was the widest lens that I owned, it made sense. But in this day and age, I'm not sure that 19mm is the lens that I would personally go out and purchase. In order to get closer up portrait style images, you have to be in the face of the person that you're photographing. Example, this is my buddy Cayenne, who we hooked up with Funda Photographer, who got a bunch of gear, and now he is shooting for Getty. He's worked his way up pretty quick, but you have to get up close and personal. What I will say is that the autofocus was incredible on the R7. It's gonna be, I think, really good on the E Mount lenses as well as the L mount and the X mount. I don't think you have to worry about focus at all. It is super fast, super snappy, and super accurate, but it's a wide angle lens, so you can expect that. At 1.4, look at the background of the stadium. It is obliterated. Now, the equivalent in 35mm background focus would be roughly f2, so keep that in mind. When you're shooting on crop sensor bodies and you're shooting at 1.4, you're getting the same light gathering as 1.4 would be on full frame, but you're getting a difference in background blur. So the effective difference is slightly different. 1.4 on full frame is a heck of a lot different than f2 on a crop sensor body. Now, I know portraits might not be the first thing that you think about. I just thought about it from the sense of where could a 19mm equivalent be used? This was just going to the extreme, getting up and close and personal with Cayenne. I can step back and it shows me the environment. It might be better for, say, landscapes. For example, when you go upstairs at the Citizens Bank ballpark and you want to get a shot from up there and you want to get the whole stadium, I still don't think 19mm is as wide as I would want to go. I like shooting 10mm on full frame, or 11 or 12 or even 14mm. That's still wider. So to see 19 today, I don't feel that 19 is a really good focal length that you would use. Especially even when you're shooting landscapes, everything's just gonna be wide. And the whole point of the 1.4 is to get close to something to get that background out of focus if you have that 1.4. So I'm still a little lost on who this lens is for, even when it comes to stills and comes to video. If you have a suggestion on what you would use it for or what you think it should be used for, leave a comment down below. Let me jump in here real quick because I want to show you what our custom Lightroom presets from FroPak 4 do to this photo right here, starting with Blue's Clues, Brooklyn. We've got C41, Copper Tone, High C, Kaleidoscope, Mel Brooks, Saltwater Taffy, Thick, and Wet Hot American Summer. But my all-time favorite from FroPak 1 is Skittles, and it makes this one go boom. Our presets also work on mobile extremely well. So look, if you want to speed up your raw workflow, give yourself a great starting point, or you want to edit on the go, whether they're JPEGs or RAWs on your phone, we've got you covered, and that's why we created 14 all-new custom Lightroom presets that you can check out right now at froknowsphoto.com/FroPak4. While you're over there, you can play with the sliders to see the befores and the afters, and if you decide to pick them up right now, they are currently on sale. Or you can grab the Grand Slam bundle that includes FroPak 1, 2, 3, and 4 and save even more. And don't forget, these work great on mobile. Now, back to the video. Since I mentioned close focus, how close can you focus with this lens? The answer to that is 6.8 inches. So that's like this. That's like 6.8 inches. That's about right. Whatever. Moving around the stadium, I love this angle from the outfield to shoot wider shots. It works with this 12mm lens, but one of the reasons I bring it up is because of lens correction. All of the lenses today that are being made, just about all of them by all the manufacturers, are using digital lens correction. So when you have it on, it looks one way, it straightens out the edges and you have no more bowing, but if you have it off because you turn it off in the computer when you're editing, you will see that there's slight bowing and you'll go a little bit wider but end up with a little bit more vignetting. Is it extreme in this situation? Is there extreme corrections? And the answer to that is no. It's not super duper extreme. You might not notice it fully, but most of the times when you put these lenses on your cameras, you're already seeing lens correction on. Now moving back down low at Citizens Bank Ballpark to shoot from inside third, it's a good spot to get photos of the guys on the on-deck circle. Personally, I've been in this spot for Shohei Ohtani with a 14mm to 30 f4, which is a much better option. It's wider on the full frame. I like having wider. Like I said, this is kind of stuck in the middle these days. Yes, it's 12, but it acts as an 18 or a 19. That is not that wide. It is a very confusing lens to me. But if you're a real estate photographer, is this a good choice? Because we take you inside the studio here, the Fro Factory, and I go into a corner and you can get everything. You can show everything. Well, not exactly everything, because you could go wider if you had a full frame wider lens or a crop sensor lens that went wider. So like I've been saying the whole time, this is still a very questionable focal length when it comes to shooting stills. So how much is this lens? It's $629. To me, that's a lot of money for a prime lens. Now, yes, it's 1.4, and yes, it's ultra wide when it comes to being on a crop sensor body, but I'm having trouble figuring out where it would fit into my personal needs. I personally think that a zoom type of lens might be a better option, but you're trading the wide aspect of it for something that just doesn't go as wide. But I think having the zoom is a better option on these APS-C types of cameras. For example, Sigma has a 17 to 40 1.8. Now that's like a 27mm to 64mm equivalent. Not much of a difference from 1.4 to 1.8 in this situation, but you're trading the versatility. That lens is $919 though, so it is more expensive, but it is an art lens, so it's part of their better line of lenses. Another example is the 16 1.4. That's a prime lens from Sigma that is $539. This 12mm is basically replacing this one. 16 doesn't make much sense to spend that much money for not even that wide of a lens. Sony offers a 1.8, an 11mm 1.8 at $648. Viltrox has a 13mm lens at $486. And just for comparison's sake, Sigma offers a 10 to 18 2.8 for $729. Yes, it's a 2.8 and you might want that 1.4. I want that versatility more than that 1.4 on the ultra wide. I want that 10mm because that's better than 12. You're going wider, and if you're photographing buildings and real estate and you're a real estate agent and you want wider photos, this is a better choice. And that 1.4 doesn't matter when you're trying to shoot the internals of a building. It doesn't matter that much. That might be a better option. Let me jump in here real quick and let you know that this video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you're looking to build your very own online portfolio, use what I've been relying on and using for over 15 years at this point for my personal site at jaredpolin.com. It's simple, easy, affordable, and I don't need to know any coding, and either do you. To get your 14-day free trial, head on over to squarespace.com/FronosPhoto. If you decide that it's for you, use the code FronosPhoto at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Now, let's get back to the video. There are still two tests here. We have the sniff test and the wind tunnel test. Let's start with the sniff test. Ooh. Smells like a Band-Aid brand Band-Aid. I'm stuck on you, so you're not stuck on me. I don't remember what they used to say. Sniff test and wind tunnel. Here we go with the wind tunnel. Ooh, it fails the wind tunnel test for being uber duper super light. So once again, at the end of the day, I question this lens. I don't question the quality. I don't question the focus speed. All of that is great. I just question the need for a prime versus zoom in this situation that might give you more versatility. That's my take on it. If you have a different take, please let me know down below. Thank you guys very much for watching. Jared Polin, PhotoPhoto.com. See ya.